Hello there, Coach Adam with Soccer Roots. I wanted to talk today about 6 or 7 key things that you can ask when you're going to be joining a soccer club. So this is normally when you're U12, U13, and you're looking for that next step. Questions that you can ask to a club before you even get there, and that are going to help you just make an informed decision, basically. There's so many out there. The first thing I just want to talk about is always remember that, especially in America, soccer clubs are very much a business. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It's very much a pay-to-play system. That's a different discussion, but for now, that's what it is. So let's just say that we have to understand it's a business, and sometimes you have to pull your feelings out of it and just ask these questions from a simply robotic standpoint to get the answers. Now, if they lie, then we deal with that. But we want to get informed before we make a decision about moving forward. Okay, so I've written them down, so my eyes flash down. It's because I can't remember them all. I wanted to give a good answer. So the very first thing that I always ask is, well, who's going to be the coach? Who's the coach? I don't think people should obsess with qualifications. I don't think people should obsess with, do they run amazing training sessions and all this kind of stuff. I think when you're dealing with a club and you're looking to join a club, the very first thing you want to do is look at, does this coach ultimately motivate people and make them better players? That's where I start, because usually these guys go away and these girls go away and we get our coaching badges and we do this stuff, and they're people, they're human beings. So they go away and they get these, but there's still millions and millions of different people with different strengths. And you want to find the best fit. So who's the coach? Can I meet the coach? Can I see what they're about? Do they have a similar background to my son or to my daughter? That would be an important thing for me. Who's the coach? Like I said, don't get obsessed with what badge is it and all this kind of stuff. Just, can they take a player, make them feel good, and improve them? You're looking for growth, right? So that's my first point. Second, how many people are on your roster? For obvious reasons. If you go to a club that's massive, you might get lost in the system. It's the same way that if you move to Hollywood and you get your first agent, you're not going to be looking to sign with CIA, right? Because they don't care about you. They got Tom Cruise on the books. So think about that. That's something that I would ask. The next thing is philosophy. Very important. Philosophy at Soccer Roots, as a pre-club developmental program, is that we want to grow strong mindsets and we believe in growing people. Doesn't mean the soccer comes second. It just means that mindset for us in a pre-club development setting is very important. We want our players to be strong mentally, understand failure tolerance, persevere, and stuff like that. So philosophy. And then of course within that you've got your soccer philosophy. Do you play out from the back? Do you not going to be a centre back necessarily who's good on the ball and then play for a team that's playing out from the back? I'm an Arsenal fan. Just talk to me about that with a manager that's obsessed with playing out from the back. Hopefully he's been fired if I'm watching this video in like 2 years, but if he's playing out from the back and your centre back can't handle it, then it's not the club for you, is it? So don't do that. Look for a philosophy of a club that not only play the way you want on the field, but also how they treat your kid off the field. Where will they play? Now, this is interesting to me. I believe in playing in multiple positions. I follow kind of the Ajax method, where you should play in multiple positions, fail in multiple positions, and ultimately learn in multiple positions. That I think is very important. Now, some people don't believe in that. That's okay. That's their belief system. But again, you want to try and find a similar belief system for, not for you, but for what your child, what your player will flourish in. Okay, so very important. Where will they play? If they're a left winger and suddenly they've been stuck at right back, well, okay, they will learn, but not if it's going to be every single game, right? We still want them to enjoy it and have fun and focus on being in that position for a little bit of time at least. So that is important. I personally am a left winger, and if I was put on the right wing, that would even fluster me a little bit, just because of the fact I'm so used to making certain runs and so forth. So think about that. Will they move teams? Can they move teams? I assume that part was locked into the financial section of it. if you're locked into an agreement of $2,000, $3,000 a season, whatever it may be, $1,500, there's varying prices that I've seen and know of. Can you suddenly just go, I'm out? Are you locked in? That's a very important thing to ask. The next one, the bench. What's your policy on the bench? Are you a club that believes in rotations? Are you a club which ties in, of course, to the coach, and it ties into the philosophy? All of these things are interlinked, but is my son, my daughter going to be on the bench? It's okay if they're on the bench, but we don't want it to be all the time, because we're looking to develop them as a player and we're just wasting their time. This is why I want you to ask these questions, because we just want honest feedback. If the person in charge says, no, we believe in and then they lie to you, it's different. But I'm a person that likes to get all the information in advance so I can make an informed decision, you know, for the benefit of my son or my nephew or whoever it may be. So just talk to them about the cutting policies, the benching policies. Really, it's about the vision of what they have for your player. And then the final one is really turning to you, the parent. It's a massive question, and it's something that I deal with all the time with my players when they reach the end of our program, around 12 or 13, and we've prepared them with the foundational skills and the intermediate skills to move on to the next stage of their development. Are they ready to do that? Are they ready, in your opinion, without making it all about your opinion? Because otherwise you're going to do it the minute you see them doing something awesome. You're going to be like, okay, they're ready for club. That's probably the beginning of the sign that they're preparing to get ready for club, when they're starting to do a good job consistently. I always would really look for a year of great attitude, a strong mindset, foundational technical skills are good. Are they coachable? So I'm looking for these kind of things. We had a player, let me just interject with a story. We had a player who I met when he must have been about 6, and he was with us for about 4 years, maybe just under 3 years. And he was okay for 3 years. He really struggled mentally early on, a very timid boy. Nothing wrong with that, but I just knew his journey was going to be a little bit longer. And the minute we cracked his mindset and started to get into him, bear in mind, we've been doing this for 3 years. We've been building him. The minute he got to a point when he was starting to, for me, look settled, that was when his dad said, well, he's off to club now. And it just took the wind out of my sails, because he needed another year. In my opinion, he needed another year. And the parent might turn around now and say, well, he's doing great, but he's only a year older. My job is to get him, he told me he wanted to make it as a player, right? He wants to get there. So I got to get him to 18, not let the ship kind of come into the dock at 14 and then say, oh, I wish I would have just, don't rush it. Don't rush it. Think of it like a creme brulee in the oven, right? Take it out too early. It's so important. So please listen to the advice of your coaches when they are making that decision. Don't rush their development. Are they ready to go? Just be honest. Because if you're not honest, sadly, it's just going to end either in tears or even worse, with them thinking they don't want to do it anymore. And all of that time and investment that they put into it, the money you spent, the time they did, all those years and years are just gone. And that is truly the saddest thing. That makes me really sad. I've seen it a couple times, unsavable, and it was nothing to do with us, which has made it even more annoying. I just wish I would have, in hindsight, banged that drum a little bit louder to the dad, but he just wasn't listening to me, and you know, his kid was the one that suffered ultimately. So yeah, are they ready? And please be honest. Ask as many people as you can. So hopefully that answers that question. It's a long video, this one, so I'll go through them real fast. Who's the coach? How many are on the roster? What's the philosophy? Where will they play? Will they move teams? What's the benching policy, the cutting policy? And then just, are they ready? So sorry for that being such a long question, but thank you for listening.